business.
Oh, heaven.
Both of them true. Just
Yeah.
keep
Uh,
that.
hey, listen, me know what are you into? But are you about to do this to me today? This whole Nordman anime team up and me vibes. Nah, family.
Bro, you need to get into the anime thing too, dog. I don't give you the ace of diamonds. You need to check it out.
I'd
It is
watch
calling your name, dog.
I'd watch Castlevania.
Okay.
Uh yeah, no, that bad. I'd watch Castlevania and what else? I watched the new Pana Luffy.
Mm.
We mean,
Uh,
nigga, help me out.
One Piece.
She talking about the live
Yeah,
animation, probably.
yeah, yeah. I watch it live on. And
He ain't
who you
watch.
think sitting on there watching 1,000 episodes? And man, that fucking paying me no money.
You know over
The
there
fuck is
watching
it?
and binge watching movies and series, and
Yeah.
what's the difference?
You never understand why I be doing, my boy. I strategic with everything I do, my boy. It takes me 8 hours to 10 hours to watch a whole series and watch a whole show, my boy. It will take me approximately 4 weeks and 3 days to finish all of these man episodes, my boy, and counting.
How long it take you to finish Game of Thrones?
I remember that, and it did take me a week, my boy. It took me a week.
And how did you feel in the end?
I felt like I made a smart decision not following the whole season when they were online and just getting to watch the whole thing one time and just be done with it rather than waiting year over year. Because now, look, I hope kind of fuck and I waiting for it to come back.
So
Uh,
that's what you said. The one thing I wanted to pinpoint. You hooked. You wanna know why you hooked? Cause you watched the whole thing. You understand what going on.
that was never the point of the conversation. The point
That's
of
the
the
point.
conversation, the point of the conversation was the time frame or how long it takes to watch the show. Not if I like the show or not. I'm pretty sure I like a lot of them anime shows.
Don't watch the time, my boy.
Because I like
Just dive in.
Castlevania, and that's a bad anime show.
We live. Okay, shared. People in the
You
chat,
hilarious, bro.
comment your favorite TV show, favorite anime.
People in
That's
the
it.
chat, comment your favorite show to binge watch. Stranger Things, Game of Thrones. What else? Um, might help me out.
Anime of any sort.
I don't. Yeah, I was about to say
One
that
And
too. I don't really watch the
One
TV
Piece.
unless it's like Bel Air and
dude. You go watch
Central
One
Park
Piece.
and them thing.
That day is just gonna be
I
like
can
watching.
watch it. I can
It's just
watch
be.
a live action, but
It's just like watching Game of Thrones like 10 times, dog. No worries.
Exactly.
what?
Yeah, dog.
Dude, what type of life would I have, dog?
I like where you watch Game of Thrones 10 times.
That's not a life that I want.
One Piece gonna change your life, dog. Don't even worry
Most
about
Deshaun say, probably Sword Art online. What's
it.
that?
Ooh,
Yeah. That they're little nice. I start. I think do the
another
first
anime.
season.
Wait, how much seasons they got? Because
You
meaning
ain't gonna watch
this
it if it's more than two
800.
seasons.
Yeah, no, man, ain't watching it if it's more than two
It
seasons.
don't have that much seasons. It probably get like 3, dog. It
You
probably
see?
get
You see? Me and Deshaun, I need to be this man friend. I think I gonna like get this man number and say, hey yo, I gonna link you every day from now on. Cause me and this man say he get to episode 200 in one piece and then quit. Yeah, the man like at a point in time, like you watch 100 episodes, what am I doing? Like you have to look at yourself and look yourself in the mirror and say, bro, you losing yourself right now, dad.
Alright, we're going live, pulling it up. One
Charlie, I
Piece,
say
yes.
Grey's Anatomy,
See,
Rookie, and 911.
Nigerian know what going on.
One agency I say One Piece, yes. Something wrong with she too. She married partner. Something gotta be wrong with her. Yeah. Yeah, see? Deshaun, same thing. Deshaun say meaning them long fuck. Yeah, dog. What does it look like?
hey,
Craziness,
yes,
craziness.
um, fantastic. So with the boat, pleasant good afternoon, everyone. All right, welcome back to another episode of Mind Hack Moments. It's your boy, Mind Hack Sack, anime connoisseur, and of course with is my dog them,
Mm-hmm.
starting with your handsome sweat. Yeah, tell that man to watch some One Piece.
Exactly.
Nah, hey, nah, don't do that to ourselves, big dog.
And of course, on the Uno dose, the Unos and doses, KJ, Johnny.
Yo.
Yeah. And of course, here we try to empower you with the tools to nurture your inner well-being, forge self-mastery, and build a robust connection with others. We're gonna secretly talk and watch anime, but that's for another day, man. We can get right into it. I want to pose to Ayo a couple of scenarios, right? So it's a little lengthy, so stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that for whatever reason you have been teleported to a double waiting room. You're in one room, and in the next room, you notice that a past version of yourself is sitting down, just chilling. Now, as you motion to go and speak to your past self, the door locks, and a message on the door pops up, letting you know that you could speak to your past self, but you can only speak to them for 15 seconds. But I will give you 60 seconds or a minute to prepare whatever it is you want to say to your past self. That minute passes. You meet with yourself for 15 seconds before you are forcibly teleported away. What did you tell this past version of yourself?
Mm.
You could take the full minute. We ain't going nowhere.
Marry Shalia Tadman and invest in a few stocks. Invest in like in a series of different stocks such as Facebook, uh, like Apple and those different things. Just those two things. Marry Shalia Tadman, invest in. I'd probably name off like a few different stocks and invest in them all in. Or the Bitcoin thing. Put the money in the Bitcoin and then take it out when it get to about 100,000, 150, whatever the fuck it get to. Invest in the Bitcoin and then take it out once it get high. That's what I would say. Take it out once you could buy a house. Then just take it out and buy a house. Call her dope. Live the rest of your life.
Mm.
I
Okay.
would I wouldn't warn myself about none of my tragedies. Think I have to go through those things in order to be where I am. But I don't need to tell them that, hey, you know what I mean? Make this decision because you have to make that decision in order to get your kids. You know what I mean? Because I love my kids and I love my wife. So in order to keep the trajectory of my life that I have now, and then to actually amplify the trajectory of my life, you know, one to maintain, one to amplify. Make sense?
Yep, yep, yep.
I like that one. I like that one. Um, in the state I am now, I feel like I'll have been more in it'll have been more in the lines of like the business mind. Like I'll have had it developed a lot more faster. I mean, a lot faster. English. But I would have, you know, had tell myself like, you're capable of a lot of things. Start from early. Don't believe the hype in, and this doesn't go against any government official workers or anything. But I had a different plan for myself, so and I've been like, you're gonna be a business owner, you're gonna make it, So put your lines or ideas and everything together to make this happen. Allow us. feed myself with the knowledge that I know now. And from there I feel like myself then would have take that and would have been a lot more deeper into my whole entrepreneurship business venture. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Been a lot more sure about the decision to be a business owner, and
Mhm.
probably even so deep that you'd have probably been buying businesses and shit like that.
Mhm. Because real estate, learn about a
Hmm.
lot of things when it comes to business, like on my own for the past few years. So all that knowledge
Yeah,
that I just feed myself quick. Boom. This is what to do. Move this, do that. Boom.
nice. Deshaun in the chat. Deshaun say after a hard box, he does say listen, listen more, and focus on application over time. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Practice patience. Be clear in your direction.
Mhm.
I think that hard box would have just dead the first one. That he like listen more, but you already ring the man air with a hard box. Yeah, you would have been looking at you like, hey yo, is it really going on? All right, cool. What about you, Kev?
Good boy. Before I answer, I'm sure I'm making the best use of this 15 seconds, dog. I'm sure I can be able to fit all of this fucking in 15 seconds to where that fast version of ourselves going to be able to absorb whatever a hard box is going to probably knock that
Oh,
first.
I thought
well,
you said a minute. I hear a minute. Okay, but okay, yeah,
I
15
have
seconds.
15 seconds. I have 15 seconds. That's why I say if
No,
I'm
you're right?
okay, cool,
Me and
cool.
Disha were more on the longer side of the hard back. She get
Yeah,
about 10
I,
seconds already done to clear back the air
yeah.
drop.
I'm an air. You check. But yeah, like to answer that question, Nigencia, I am sorry. That was a great answer your Hansi put. But when I pondered this myself, I did not include anything about you in this 15-second thing. So I know you're gonna give me a hard time regardless, but it's just a
Nice.
check.
It's definitely not a test or not a game, bro, because I am losing vastly in the regular daily life of relationship. So
That's great. But this was for this was because I know it coming. I know it coming.
hmm
But the the answer that I came up with, if I were to talk to my past self with for 15 seconds, but I had a minute to prepare, I would tell this man, specifically the me in high school, whether 11th or 12th grade, buy Bitcoin, steal your brother's address if you have to, but buy Bitcoin at all costs and hold it. That's it.
hmm
You check. That's
where the fuck does Steve brother address thing come from?
I know that
because
was coming. I know.
in order, I suspect that in order for me to like invest or buy Bitcoin, I wouldn't be able to use like like some stuff you have to
Oh, mm-hmm.
you're saying like he been in the States by then. You know what I mean? So like I would have been able to just ask the man like, hey, let me use your address for a particular thing you check and
Yeah.
so
Hey,
I well
My teacher says
go
shit.
ahead, finish.
I wasn't
yeah,
including
Yeah, you
anything
see the
about you
right?
either.
Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, the chat wild today. I loving it, dog. The chat, that anime question really, yeah.
like
We probably need to start the session then with that question in the beginning. But go ahead, finish.
yeah, but like I would have like just tried to make this as like concise as possible. Like research Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin at all costs, even if you have to use Sean address. Buy Bitcoin.
Mm.
It's
Yeah, man. Chat live today. Nice to see everybody in the chat. I see some hearts and stuff. I think that was Serafina. Um, so Nigencia pretty much she said, don't worry, I wasn't including you in anything about I wasn't including anything about you either. So there's a mutual feeling there. And I think that's a big benefit. I think you just stole off with a dub. I think because
Yes.
because I could have seen exactly what you were talking about. You were like, "Oh gosh, Hanson, show me up," and it wasn't really a show up. It's just I know for sure I probably would have been in a hell in
I
a
just
handbasket if it wasn't for Shadia.
I just know how should I get tired. Should have been like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
so you ain't gonna tell him to for us to be married or some heck
Hmm.
shit harass
Yeah,
me about
yeah,
before. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah,
that it was a possibility. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. You know how they is, man. They evil in nature, try and turn you against your boy and fuck like that. Like, what you doing that laugh at? You know what I'm saying? But and then Zelon enter the chat. He's ridiculous, diabolical mother scunt. And then so Deshaun say, I don't want to use them kind of examples. And I think he was referring to something, but I can't track it right now. So I'm curious as to why you even posed that question to us as to start this session.
Hmm. Yeah, and I absolutely will answer that for sure. After I ask that the second one. So the second one is the same exact scenario. You walk into a waiting room, you see a past of any version of your choosing.
Hmm.
You motion to open the door to go talk with them, but the door locks and a message pops up. You can only be able to talk to this person, but instead of 15 seconds, you can be able to talk to this person for 6 hours. And you have 24 hours to prepare what it is you want to tell your past self in that 6 hour time span.
Now, this is where all the things we've been working on, it's time to apply these things today. You see, now, if you are a Mind Hack fan and you've been with us from the inception of the beginning of the birth of Mind Hack online with the live streams,
Tell them
you
I'll
would
answer.
know. Yeah, I am answering the question. You would know that you need a pen, a paper, and your thoughts. And we hate this the most, but it is time to write that shit down.
Mm.
That's where I would take that 24 hours to literally write down everything that I everything that I feel like I can amplify life with. And anything that I feel was a pivotal moment in my life that probably, that probably shake up my life, or I probably made a bad decision that wasn't the best, but it did teach me something. Like, talking to a certain girl in high school that probably do me a vibe. I ain't telling you about that. You need that. You need that. That's strength. You need that bust chest. That's strength. You know what I'm saying? Or um, you know, probably even different times when my father would have been like, my father used to do this thing with if I didn't know, if I had something in my hand and I didn't know what to do with it, he would be like, hold it in your hand until you figure out what it belong. Hold it in your hand, like almost like a common sense type of thing. Like, you need to solve this problem. Like, I'm not going to tell you everything. You know what I mean? So it had different moments where, like, I get in real trouble for like just being stupid or not thinking quick enough. And even those moments, I'd be like, you don't just gotta face those. Like, I ain't bailing you out and none of those. But it does have moments of like staying in ROTC in high school and actually committing to ROTC so you could learn more, so you could gain that discipline that you were lacking pretty much your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Um, it would be uh probably never leaving like because I wanted to leave the island earlier on in my like high school career to try to pursue sports. And now that I thinking back of it, I probably would tell myself, don't go no place. Because UVI was some of the best of my days, dog. Like the best of my days. I learned so much about myself. I was able to grow so much as a human being, as a leader. And I was able to develop myself around people that had fully understand me, engulf myself into the culture while still being able to forward my ability to learn. So that's a we can't answer this question right now. It's just too much, But what I would say is I would definitely have a pen and paper, and I would be writing down everything that I know I need to continue to do to gain the life that I have right now, and anything that I could amplify. I would make sure I put little caveats in there, like make this little move or make that little move. but I'm not going back to save myself from every bad or every slip and every fall. I think I need those falls, I need those slips, I need those stuff. I know myself, I understand how I the law now as an older individual, and I realize that like I don't learn from necessarily people telling me, hey, don't do that. I learn from my experience of doing that. I have to fuck up. Kev,
Mr.
what is it? Oh, you
Oh, no, I over here trying to figure out who is Fiona Frick. Because what? No.
why? What she say? She said, "Oh, what?"
I over here trying to yeah, yeah. But overall, um 6 hours. I feel like I probably was answering that question then if it was in the 15-second one because yeah, it's a lot of things I learned within me motioning from relocating to the mainland and stuff that I got open to um that I believe like would have been some key components in just like self growth and um just the mindset that I'm in now that I will be sharing with myself because yeah, it's really like a whole different. I feel like if I was still home, you know, home is home. Like we have friends, family, we have our customs, our um natural way of doing things, but overall my mindset had changed to where I seen we just basically stuck in the same cycle, doing the same thing. Kind of want more, kind of want to better my life in a specific way. So just like talking to myself and really reassuring me, as in like it's more out there. This is like yeah, it feels all good on all you can always go hang out with your friend them. You could always go out, you could chill, but what you in the next 10, 20 years, like what is all of this going to accomplish? What is it going to do for you? So overall, just that mindset of like w- everything I learned throughout, like and still learning. Um, Real estate. I've been in a work for a real estate company, and I feel like that's one of the things I want to get into myself. Like when I ready for that venture, real estate, all those things is like key components. Learning how to manage emotions, thoughts, those different things that we learn throughout this whole podcast session is like I feel like in situations now it's kind of being handled a little, a lot better. It could still get better, but from what I've been learning and the tools that you've been sharing, it's like all of these I would have feed into myself to just,
Mm.
help the growth, keep me abreast from like way back when. So yeah, but 6 hours, that's a good bit of time to kind of dive in depth. But overall, that's like the whole gist of what I would do or tell myself.
How
Sweet,
about you,
sweet.
Kev?
Yeah, man. So much like what you alluded to earlier, Hansi, um, I would definitely spend a long amount of time sharpening my act in the form of writing that shit down for sure. In fact, in the example, I was supposed to even say you can have access to a pen, paper, food, water, whatever you need to like make it through that 24 hours and them stuff as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, um, I don't believe that I would be telling him anything about like the future, specifically like events and everything. Because like Johan say, I think I am also of the belief that like yeah, those experiences were quite valuable,
Mm-hmm.
and you know if I did not experience this, I wouldn't be where I am. Like I guess within reason, because like I guess I wouldn't say like explicitly a whole bunch of stuff like, but there would be some things that I would obviously share with him that would change the trajectory of some stuff. But I think the biggest thing that I would want to impart in that version of myself, this would still be the same high school Kefren that I would be talking to. Is things around emotional intelligence all yeah.
Mm.
Like I would damn near host like a workshop about it to this man. They check on like why that shit is super important for you like now,
Mhm.
and here are some specific things that you can do to nurture your self-esteem, because like I am you, like whatever shit you wrestling with right now, I literally know about it
Mhm.
because I'm you. So like I would speak deeper about like those things that are happening at that point, and really like impart not only just specific principles that I learn in now, but also like almost like a coaching session where like you get like homework, and like it's like this is like the single most important thing that you want to really like keep with that, because this is the common denominator for a lot of the challenges that you're gonna have. So like things with self-esteem and things with overthinking.
Mm.
And still putting in the fucking Bitcoin. I can just be a lot more elaborate about why telling him with like, yeah, the Bitcoin, the select stocks, to like
Mhm.
just buy and hold, like, hey, watch out, look out for this stock, or these types of stocks, in fact. Like, bro,
Mhm.
tech is about to go insane for a while. Hey, for shits and giggles, hold on to GameStop and AMC until you see something crazy happen with it.
Mhm.
And something crazy happen with it, then you could decide to sell off, or what have you.
Mhm.
But that's basically what the main things that I would kind of like impart. That like, obviously you can go through like some different things, but these tools will help you cope with them, become more optimistic, and leverage them to your benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like any of that day is possible. I can remember being really upset about going to UVI when I find out I was going to UVI.
Same here.
Like, by the time I graduate with my undergrad, complete night and day, the
That's the
best
same.
that I could have ever fucking made, dog. You know
Same
what
here.
I mean? And for me, I think I really think that with those pieces of advice, I think that some of the more important things would still kind of reach to the same conclusion. I feel um, like I would be able to maximize stuff even greater than what I did at college. I firmly believe I would still be married to Nigeria. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Maybe sooner. You know what I mean? Like different.
That's only if you went to UVI though.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
still like as I say, I still believe that I would have gone to UVI.
Mhm.
You know, I um I would have still done like my extended degree, so the conditions would have still been there for that to happen.
Mm. Mm. No, no doubt. No doubt.
But
Actually, what what's funny is Nigeria answered the question, which is cool. And anybody else inside of the chat that want to answer the question should as well, join in. We like to make you a part of it. So she actually gave a well put together and concise answer. And I really admire her answer. She said, yeah, I think I would give my past self the tools to deal with the hardships that may come instead of trying to forewarn. and encourage her to stand up for herself, no matter who it is, and capitalize more on opportunities she's presented with. Which is like, that's like by far the basics of having the opportunity to even talk to your past self. Like, you should really
Mhm.
start with that. Deshaun said, to be honest, I'd focus on investing knowledge. The general life advice, I wouldn't be too specific because once I change my financial future, my life would change to new problems that I currently haven't even been through yet. So the emotional intelligence piece mostly. So it seemed like Deshaun
Yeah,
also
I kind of agree
attaches
with
to
that.
what you're saying.
Kind
Yeah.
of agree with that because it's like, yeah, we talking in the hypothetical, like if you were able to, but it's like I forget the term, but it's like if you change the outcome of what already happened, stuff might not end up being the same way
Hmm.
exactly. Like because if I know then and I start to move different and sort some of my decisions, the things I may have gone through might not have come like actually happen. I might not have gone to them if I dealt with things a little differently. Yeah, it could have probably been in the best interest for a point in time, but then it could also may have affected other things that I cherish and hold, close that I gained throughout that learning experience. Cause and
Yeah.
effect, or what it is, like the butterfly effect. The
Domino effect, you mean?
No, it's something where like.
The butterfly effect is like this thing that kind of posits that if something change, like something really small change in a particular event, even if it was like in the past, it could lead to catastrophic changes in the future. I think it
Yeah.
started from somebody literally trying to say like a wing flap from a butterfly could like cause like in like California could cause like a tornado in like Virginia or something like that. You know,
Mm.
like something to that effect.
No, that makes sense. But that's why, for me, I was more thinking of how can I maintain a lot of the relationships that I now have, and how can I make sure like, yo, these is people you need to connect with, and these is people you need to keep close to you, because like I strongly feel like the people that I have in my circle now, it wouldn't have matter if I had a lot of money or a little bit of money or no money. You know, those people are genuine people at this point. I know for a fact, uh, just Shalia herself being, you know, pretty much like my person. You know what I mean? No matter the trajectory or no matter the problems, oddly enough, I feel like any problems that come when my mind and her mind attack it simultaneously together, we'll solve it pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why that, well, not the only reason, but that's one of the main reasons too why like my first thing is like, yo, like, that's your partner, bro. Like, I don't think that you could do some of the things that you did with somebody else. Other people they they might not have that ability to cope with you, to understand where you're coming from, different things like that. So the people is very important, which staying at UVI too would have been like, yo, like don't go away. Like I know sports important to you. I know you've been doing this all your life, but there's a second life at UVI that you're gonna be able to tap into, a part of you that you never used to use because you felt like it was invaluable in the hood or invaluable around the different people you used to be around. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who want to hear your intellect. They want to hear your wisdom. They want to, see more than just your outside appearance, how strong you look, how fast you can move. Like, you have people who actually value you for the way you think, how you approach thoughts and different things like that, you know what I mean? So that's what that's how it was. But yeah, chat booming.
Yes,
Chat chat booming. You want me to read a few more or you want to go ahead and continue?
no, you could definitely read a few more. I'll just quickly reiterate for anybody that just newly came in. A shortened version of the two scenarios I just posed is essentially if you had the opportunity to talk to yourself, to a past version of yourself for 15 seconds before you were teleported away, what would you say to that past version of yourself? And then the other part, is if you had the opportunity to talk to yourself, a past version of yourself for 6 hours, what would you say to that past version of yourself? And you had different prep time in that. For the 15 seconds, you have a minute to prep what it is you want to say. And for the 6 hours, you have a day, 24 hours to prep what you want to say. Check. So yeah, man. Let me see what let me see what the folk of them saying though.
Yeah, for sure. Big up Cal for jumping in the chat. Aglenis Noor. Big up. I can't really pronounce your name, but big up for jumping in the chat and being here with us. Shalia said, yup, I was just trying that. And I think she's referring to a comment before. She said she was just typing that. Altering anything in the past can change the entire future. So even giving that advice may mean you wouldn't have done or seen certain things that would trickle into you making those decisions. I think she's touching on KJ's butterfly effect,
Mm,
um
Mm-hmm.
of
yeah.
just getting a little bit of that information gonna make you like so hard set hard prone. Is almost like if somebody tell you we're looking for red cars today, now all you could see is red cars, so you wouldn't be unaware and observing all the other cars that you might have made a decision about and what's not. But Dishon said, like realistically, as much as I would want some some of the people that I have in my life now, I probably don't meet them. For example, I'd never have joined the military. Not
Yeah,
that I
like
would tell myself not to, but once I am rich, I don't think I'd need to make that decision. That's very valid.
Yes,
That's very
sir.
valid. And then Shalia said, but then again, if something or meeting someone was meant to be, irregardless of what you change, the universe will make it happen. But the universe can also make it happen in a way where it don't last. You know what I mean? You meet somebody at a point in time in your life where you feel like they don't bring value to you. You could you could still mess that up. The universe can only work so much. If you want to entrust that into the universe, it could only work so much. That's why
mm-hmm.
all these different like parallel. Whenever we watching like them multiverse type of stuff, it almost be like people will look different. People will be different things. They'll have relationships with people that they probably hated in the next universe, and it's like what I mean. Like you don't know how that'll match out. So trusting in the universe is also tricky. So I
Because
would
I
say,
mean, we still looking at right now in our life, like point in time in life now. Like, then
mm,
if I had sit down and then now going to that person to keep close, if I know like eventually they're gonna grow into like a great person, like a genuine person. They might not have been that type of person back then, So it'd have been like, what? No man, what you telling me this person?
yeah, yeah. You tell me look for this girl and she's a mother scunt around with this man. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Kefren, I want you to comment on this. So, Zeldon, fucking evil mojo jojo motherfucker. He said, I still would have given myself investment advice, even if it shortened the world's lifespan. You hear that fuck the man? I just realized why I read. Dog. And then he said, but I would have chosen myself in college because I wouldn't trade the people I met there for nothing. Probably depends on how much we offering. For a minute, I was like, man, Zelen, you just touched my heart. And then, of
At the
course, he had
point,
to touch.
so let we know, like, hey, never
Like,
be
I'll,
relaxed.
I'll still trade you to a slave master for the right price, dog. This man deadly. But what you think about that?
Hey, I rock with what this man said, even from the first sentence, dog. You know why? Cause like all he really saying is that I going to deliver this really important piece to you, my younger self,
Mm,
any cost,
mm,
any cost, my boy. It gonna get delivered to you because the whole wall shortening stuff that there wouldn't be from just his actions alone. You check, that ain't something that he outright could just control. He telling them, man, he telling his younger self, hey, buy some Tesla in 2020 is not by itself going to accelerate climate change and them thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at least not by itself. And so it's kind of like it kind of is within this man's nihilistic cynicist like standpoint anywhere where it's like, hey, you know, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what I do here, ain't gonna really have okay. I
Well,
didn't
well,
expect that thing,
well,
but
well. No man.
yeah, man, no matter
That's the
what,
that's the bombs. That's the bombs that's Ellen setting off. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like no matter what you do, you none of it gonna really matter in like the longest run. So take this thing for yourself right now so that things could be a little better for you while you enjoying this thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm with it. If the world lifespan shortened by a year, our 100th generation folks won't even be around to see it from an Earth standpoint. Because I mean, human race, we probably getting our time coming up just now. So
Damn, that's wild. This taking a very dark tone. Let's lighten the mood. Let's pivot. I'm an expert at this. Let's pivot. Let's lighten the mood. There's a great question inside of the chat that was posed. Kefren, I want you to answer this because you need to do some more. You've attached yourself to Zeldon's rhetoric a little too much. I was not expecting that. Uh, so let's take a nice little turn. So Shalia said something to think about is how would you feel if your future self came back to you today with advice from the future? Would that advice change how you move forward today, Kefren?
I definitely think so, for sure, for
Elaborate.
sure, right? Because
Elaborate.
like me of the present right now,
Hmm.
especially concocted this exercise, and so if I ever have that opportunity, it would really hit home, especially how dire a particular thing is, how tangible a particular outcome might be if I continue going down this particular road.
So if yourself
And
come and tell you build website.
Oh Lord.
then I am going to be like, man, it's time to get on YouTube, really look down at some freaking WordPress and
Hmm.
Elementor material, and
Yeah,
with
yeah.
additionally be like, hey, wow, watch to like get a good mastery at this thing, man.
Hmm. Hmm.
I would get to work.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Get to work.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
and I really like that question or that comment that Shalia posed.
Yeah, man, big up. That's my wife, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Big up. That's my wife, dog. That's my wife. For sure, for sure.
But yeah, I
So,
feel like overall, anybody like if that was to happen to anybody, is like, I mean, it's you. It'll be like a shock that this even happening because we just know this don't naturally happen. But it's like at the end of the day, I believe people should be able to feel what like like a positive energy or like someone that wants to lead you in the right direction is portraying. So yeah, it might come off like hard to believe or like thing at first, but hey, if you this is me, they're saying this is this what I gotta do. I know myself ain't gonna come back and tell me to do something that I ain't supposed to do. So hey,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I gonna all right, get on the game, buy a game, let's go,
Mm-hmm.
start making
I
those
don't,
moves.
I don't, I don't think I would budge at all. I don't think I would be shocked, scared, none of that. I think I'll just kind of zone in for a moment because in my mind, I always found a lot of different things that happen in my life to be like an anomaly, extremely strange and very coincidental. So if that was to take place, not saying that I'm some special person or anything, but I had a plethora. I have a plethora of fucking anomaly situations, and that would just be one of the many. And I would just look at it and I would be like, Irie, Irie, okay,
You know
Irie.
what? I'm glad we having this conversation because to be honest with you, I think you'd be surprised, dog. You say I don't know if you mean like you wouldn't be shocked at the information you hear, or you wouldn't be shocked that your future self caught up to you. Because I really like envisioning this thing all now, right?
Mm.
If I were to walk outside and see like me looking older, like gray hair and them fuck or something, I'd probably be crashing the fuck out, dog. I'm not even going to hold you. I may need a moment to gather myself at what the hell is happening, because this is some unbelievable stuff happening right now, dog.
No,
I
by right.
might.
Uh,
That's
I
so
have a
natural.
different. I could respect what you're saying, but I have a different numbness to the situation and the fact that I look identically like my dad. I've already felt like I've had this situation play out. So for
Yeah,
me,
very.
doesn't that make sense? Like if I see, I would feel like I talking to my father. I would. That's how I would. If I looking at a man that older than me that look just like me, I would feel like this is my father talking to me. I wouldn't panic. I think the only moment that I'll be like startled or I'll probably like taking a step back is probably if the individual say, "Hey, I am you from the future." You know what I'm saying? That's when I'll be like, and then I just ask them like I just want one question to verify, and I'll just ask them a question that I know I ain't never tell nobody something. You know what I mean? And I'll ask them a question, and if they answer the question correctly, then boom, all right, cool. What you got for me? You know what I mean? Like why you here? Like some like I about to dead. Like you need to prep me. At that point, I going into like I know myself. I go into like a like vomiting questions. Like yo, you like I have now. I curious as to why the fuck you here trying to talk to me. Do you need to answer my questions now? You know what I mean? So that's probably the only like high emotions that I'll start to get in terms of me just being curious and concerned for like my health, my family, my this because why are you coming back here? If it's just yeah, like why are you back here? Like if it's just to make more money, then it's like, bro, you fucking up the timeline for money? Like nigga, you know what could happen? You know what I'm saying? But if it's like, yo, you got, save your wife, save your kids, save the world, save something, then all right, cool. Like, because that's where I would be startled. My startle would be, I know myself. I ain't coming back. I ain't coming back to the past to tell you how to make money. Nah. If you ain't know how to make money, you're never gonna make money, no matter what fucking universe you in. You know what I'm saying? You either a hustler or you're not. You know what I'm saying? But I will come back to the past to tell you how to save somebody that we both love, which is what we don't normally see because that's the driving factor, you know what I mean, of coming back to deliver that message. Not for no selfish fucking deed like making money. Anybody can make fucking money. Getting me mad at this man just thinking about it. I would, I would punch myself, my boy. I would be like, the man, like, dog, you fucking up the timeline, dog. Anything that I would never get to where you are now because you fucking things up.
Man, come back to talk to answer for 6 hours. That man spend 2 hours fighting, shaking and thing.
Like, yeah, the chance say if my future
Yeah.
self come back and tell me to fight a random man on the street, I might probably do. The man, what?
Wait, what? That's wild. Yeah, they're
uh,
going crazy in the chat. They're going crazy in the chat. I
Shaggy says
love
she
it.
probably passing out. Yeah, I mean that's natural. It's like people might be in
Yeah,
a shock.
that's
It just depends on what the situation is. But I would probably be at the end of the day, I gonna feel like a little discombobulated because it's like this don't happen. But yeah, like I said,
mhm.
I would listen and be like, I know me coming back to tell me nothing of
Yeah,
non-importance or value. So
you know, I automatically thinking somebody about to
auntie in the
dead.
chat, okay? Yeah, auntie.
Auntie in the chat. Auntie in the chat. But yeah, yeah, nah, like, like that just would be it, my boy. I would be like, yo, I don't know why you here that. And if you here to try say like, hey, let's get rich, I don't think use me. Because me know that we don't want to be rich. We want to be well off. And I have this conversation with KJ all the time. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be able to afford the things that I can afford and take care of my family. You know what I'm saying? I understand the problems of being rich. I understand them. You know what I mean? There's serious problems, big problems. And you lose a lot of people when you're chasing money and chasing wealth on a level of, um, rareness. You know what I'm saying? And you put yourself around other people who've attained their wealth in some of the most rarest ways and in unprincipled manners and unmoral manners that you wouldn't take those steps to do. So you've now put yourself amongst people who would do anything for a dollar, and you've done what you're supposed to do for a dollar, if you've done what you're supposed to do for a dollar, and then now you're around vampires.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what happened to a lot of. That's why I realized it happened to a lot of celebrities and stuff. People that was like normal, they become famous. They realize they've now put themselves around individuals who have attained fame and wealth with unreasonable and, you know what I mean, unprincipled manners. And when you realize you're around those type of people, birds of a feather flock together. It's only a matter of time before you start doing some diabolical shit. So yeah,
Yes.
my bad to go so deep, but I just say
Nah, you
what
good.
it is.
It's actually
Yep.
What it is.
a good conversation. 'Cause it's more like a, I feel it's more of a reflecting thing. Like you reflect on all the good stuff and all the the positivity in terms of what you learn, growth, all that you want to implement, or just reiterate to give yourself a test on what you learn all these time. Just like you say, self mastery and all that what you learn from it. So,
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
I
A
find
fantastic
that
comment because
that might hack the work for true.
Yeah, I fuck the work for true. I fuck
because
the
we
work.
yep. So we finally gained to the part where I tell her why the fuck I even asked her them questions to begin with.
Mm,
Facts.
Great, right? Because throughout this entire conversation, every last one I have began assembling the ingredients to actually answer that question for ourselves. Because the purpose that I ask them questions and pose them scenarios is to essentially create a gold mine for yourself to glean different life lessons or things that you need to be applying right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we think about the relationship between past, present, and future, I think that when we living in the present and we just kind of going through the motion of doing stuff, when it really comes to trying to design a way forward, it could be really challenging for a lot of people, right? Whether folks don't want to sit down and think deeply about what it is that they want to change, or if it might be even a little too uncomfortable. So much people, I'm sure you've heard and probably even said in different contexts, that don't dwell on the past. What's done is done, type
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like, and you're not incorrect in that um, assessment of like, what's done is done. But the thing about the past as well is that it contains very important pieces of information that you can carry with you to change your future. The name of this episode is Talk to Yourself, Visit Your Past to Propel Your Future. And so when I break down those two questions, when I was answering them, I noticed that there were a set of themes to it where the things that you would naturally tell yourself in the past or talk about are things that you simply wish you would have done better or want to change. This showcases a gap between where you are or were and where you want to be or even am today or where you are today, right? The driving force that creates any kind of passion any kind of ambition, I believe, is those gaps. The more the gap is, the more drive you have. And it's very hard sometimes to see that gap or see the significance of that gap when you are just looking from a present standpoint onto your future, as opposed to visiting your past and looking at how those gaps surface. And the past is a great way to do that there because because you can change it. That's what make it sting even more. You're there in the present and you're gonna always be in the present, which means you're gonna always have a chance to do different things, which means you're gonna always have a chance to soar and you're gonna always have a chance to fuck around and fuck up. And so it's easier to just take that for granted. But the past is stagnant. You can't do anything about it. And so by visiting your past and thinking about specific scenarios or specific things that you would like to change, it will more than likely unlock things that are still bothering you today in some way, shape, or form. Or at the very least, create a certain criteria that you can take action upon later. I will use myself as an example because there's also a reason I asked two versions of the question. The first one, you notice that you only had 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That's because it was meant to get you to think about something that was maybe like acute, really significant, or really bothersome to you that can be simplified or easy enough to articulate. A, do this instead. It's probably a little more drastic. Whereas the second one was a little more slow paced. You had a lot more time to really sit down and think about the broader concepts that you might have wanted to impart onto whatever version of your younger self.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the reasons those things were my two answers. When it came to the shorter one, my main focus was investment. And that was my main focus because now we in 2025, I'm doing a lot better now. But in 2020, after the pandemic shut down the place,
Mm-hmm.
and we were also on our Robin Hood tip and all of that stuff, right?
That Robin Hood brand was nice.
Yeah, I remembered investing normally. I was able to invest upwards of like 8 grand,
Nice.
right? And this was money that I saved up over the course of my time at UVI. Around February or so, I learned a little bit about options trading. All my stocks folks, they might probably know a little something about that there.
Mm-hmm.
With some money, I discovered that I could make a gang of money off of options trading.
Okay.
I I I remember watching like a 6 hour video about it. And after I watched that video, March 1st, no, March 6th. No, I lied. It wasn't March 6th, it was like June something. Sometime in June, I made a move in investing in options for airlines because I said to myself, hey, you know, these airline stocks down right now and they down bad.
Mm.
But they're gonna eventually get back up. Made a whole plan around it.
Mm.
So like, yeah, man. This year work when I invested in one of them other stocks and I get back like 500. So if I was able to get back 500 and I only put in like $50 in this thing, then I can I can see what happened if I put in like a towel.
Mm-hmm.
I put in the towel. The next day, Delta went up, Boeing went up, AA went up, United went up. I find myself with 11,000 in my account. I say, yeah, I sell off almost all of my stocks, putting in more into those same stocks. The following day, it went up some more. All them thing went up some more for that whole week. And my portfolio was at 28,000. I can remember that day so well because I was standing on an old house that I was at, the porch, just daydreaming with the most of like excited anxiety about what I can do with all of this cash.
Mm.
Thinking to myself, oh, I could make a career off of this. I
Mm.
could do all kind of thing with it. The rest of that week, it continued to go up,
Mm-hmm.
and I left it. The following Monday come,
Oh
that
Lord.
crashing down. I said, damn, well, I just need to put in like 1,000 more, man. The
What
next
a
day, it drop again.
should I call your boy?
Exact mistake again. And before I knew it, I put in pretty much all of my investments on a shrinking call that turned into a put very quickly. And that 20, almost 30K plus money shrank to,
At least 4 grand.
no, like $500, bro.
Nah, you at this point you fucking stupid, girlfriend. I don't know. I don't know
Indeed.
how else to tell you.
Indeed. It was the single dumbest move that I have ever done with my coins. It was so dumb, and I was so dysregulated off of this stuff that I ended up repeating that same mistake at least two more times.
Why though? You why? Like
So
how could you
there was
do?
a was it a cup that you were trying to get? Like why you didn't
No,
figure that?
and that's his problem. When you're doing things like this, you have to go into it because it's like gambling. That's what they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you
Precisely.
that stocks is exactly like gambling. It gets you excited. It's an addiction. And they try to make it into a career because anything that the government can regulate to make money off of, they okay. It don't matter how unhealthy it is for you. It don't matter the bad or the repercussions. That's something that they could have regulated a long time ago. How to gamble the right way. That's why I have casinos all over the place and how to gamble for a fucking career. That's what these white men are doing, boy. So now you went into something that they know when you're doing this type of stuff, you set limits to it, which is what I did for myself. Which I am sorry that that happened to you, bro. And I almost feel like I have a part to play in it. Just being your friend and not being able to be that outlet for you to call and say, hey, Hanson, this is what really going on with me right now. Should I pull? And I tell you, dog, you up 20 grand, pull. You have no need to be in any of this right now. What you need to do is pull that 10, 20 grand, take at least 15 out, and then throw an next one back in it. If you really want to keep pursuing it that badly, just make sure you secure at least your profitability. Take that out, put that there on the side because that's how I was able to buy my house. I took out the money when I left the Virgin Islands. I took out the money from GRS. I think I had take out I think I had about what, like 12 or 10 grand or something like that. I used some of it to clear up my debt so we could have, so I could have looked good, get a margin, get my buying power so I could have buy my house. You know what I mean? That'll leave me with about like five to six. You know what I'm saying? With that 5 to 6 now, my cousin put me on a call. You know what I'm saying? Yo, put your money in this, it about to go boom. I say, all right, you know what I'm saying? No problem. Now in my mind, I know how much I need for my down payment so I could get my payment the right way. That was my mark, dog. And I remember putting it in and it rise to that. I think I had double the money because I think I had like five I put in, you know what I mean? Then I double it to like five or 12, 16 or something like that around there. Anywhere around those three numbers. And I remember pulling. And I do remember my mother-in-law was like, why you pull so early? And like in my mind I hit my mark. Like I hit what I needed to hit. You know what I'm saying? If I lose anything, I would now have to come out of my pocket and fill that in. You see what I'm saying? So I hit my mark. You know what I mean? I pull it out and it was still rising. It was still rising. So I could have make a next 10 grand off of it. You know what I mean? For sure. But then one day, just like what happened to you, it tank. It tank and it tank hard. Real hard. You know what I mean? And I just stand there and I was just like, yeah, I'd have been up, but how would I have known that today would have been the day that it would have tanked? I would not have known. You'd have to have insider trading in order to know. And I like at the end of the day, it may be a little bit modest, and I might have pulled a little early because I pulled like a week early, but still I was able to meet my goal. You know what I mean? And since that day, I always been afraid to go back into it because just because of how volatile that shit could be, and you don't know who pulling the strings, and you don't know who making these things actually happen, and you don't know who to follow. There's a lot of people saying there's coaches and there's this and there's that, but what do you really know? Like, if you really are who you say you are and have the ability to control and make these moves the way or you say you have it, you wouldn't be charging me for coaching. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you wouldn't even be talking to me because a lot of them senators and them people who actually to be able to make and pull the strings and know what to put money on, they don't talk to small people about these type of things. They don't barely even talk to their family members about it because it's so dangerous. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, this guy gave you hype.
Mm-hmm.
They gave you
Yeah,
hype.
man. Because I feel like that could have like that these is moments where I feel like you were inadequate as a friend, you were inadequate as a leader, you were inadequate as a person that were connected to a person that had an opportunity because they couldn't see that that was a moment to call you because you had a little bit of knowledge, just a little bit. And this is those moments, I guess this is perfect because this is that whole yourself coming back to talk to you. But what if your friend or somebody right next to you have all the information that you need? You know what I'm saying? To help you through one of the most pivotal moments of your life. Like, dude, that was a pivotal moment of my life to be able to buy my house, bro. Like that changed the way how I had see myself and how I think about myself and what I capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? If you were able to um friggin' claim that, and I do remember you telling me this story, but if you were able to claim that and really walk that in, that man, like only like you say, only God knows what would have really take place for you, what things would have been, what you would have been able to do for yourself, with that type of guap and stuff like that. Now, knowing you, you're already a smart guy, so you probably would have invested in something good. You probably would have buy land back home because I have so much land in Cruz.
I was thinking about all sorts of things that I would have do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
like the the excitement about it, because like as you alluded to, it like as much as them man might want to make it sophisticated and stuff, options trading especially is gambling. Like that is really what you're doing. And I, in all of my excitement and non-regulation in coming up with all of this tangible new money, I failed to do something more responsible with it.
Yeah,
And it further compounded on itself because after losing that money, I tried all sorts of things at all costs to get back at that same level to then
mm-hmm.
lose it. And the entire point of me like sharing that, right, is to show just how impactful and significant just that 1 week was in my life, my boy. Right?
Mhm.
It is like I'm good now. Like I've reached to the point where I could look at my Robinhood account, see that the overall thing says negative 10,000, and I'm like, okay. Like I'm like, I will do much better when I start investing again. I will absolutely overcome this deficit. It doesn't have to be right now. I can do this the right way, right? But it was significant because this thing, it really matched me up for years. It eat me up for years, dog. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I couldn't, after I finally pulled out, I could not really look at any stocks or hear about any news without feeling bummy, right? Which is part of why I'm okay now. That in addition to the coping mechanism that I've developed over the years, like that's why like I'm like I could share this thing out loud now. Because everything that you just tell me, I don't tell myself that they're 10 times over, you check. And
Yeah.
so that's what makes things like that so impactful. And that's what answering the past version of myself
Mhm.
really helped in depth with
Mhm.
providing me right now the tools to impact my future. And when
Mhm.
it comes to the longer term question, right, it's kind of like along the same lines, but I'm able to, instead of thinking about specific events or anything like that per se, I can kind of take the time to look at a theme,
Mhm.
right? And the theme for me growing up is that I didn't have very stable self-esteem growing up. Did not have that stuff. I might have performed in a certain way to kind of get folks to like back off, but I absolutely longed for a more robust sense of self
Mhm.
that I did not have. And as I am here now, I realized that a lot of this stuff could have been remedied with certain things like affirmations, being more deliberate about looking at specific things that I have done, internalizing it and not consuming it, internalizing it so that I can wear that for the rest of my days as I continue taking different actions. So that way I can make what's good greater and make bad good.
Yeah.
And
100%.
the three things that I think about with that is constructing affirmations to help nurture my own self esteem,
Yeah.
establishing particular coping thoughts, and sizing goals to deal with my overthinking. Because even back then, I was still thinking about how I wanted to shape the world, but couldn't put it into like words. I wouldn't even tell anybody like that stuff. Like this thing that I just say from my hack moments with empowering people with tools to X, Y, and Z, like that's my life mission that I have
Mhm.
finally been able to point towards almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
Only a year ago. And that's stuff that I was thinking about since 10th grade, ninth grade, and everything. And I never told anyone. You check because I was too
Yeah.
afraid. You know what I mean? And so being able to focus on like those principles in depth, nurturing my self-esteem, right? Like, dude, I know the reason why you're walking out, dog. Ain't because you want to get stronger. It's because you're feeling really low of yourself, and you
Mhm.
think by looking all muscle up and you gain like attention from folks that are gonna like build you up. That's consuming it because that's
Mhm.
temporary. You eat it, you shit it out.
Mhm.
But if you internalize it, you have it close to your heart, ain't going no place, dog. It's yours.
Mhm.
You check. So you're dealing with that, mechanisms to help with overthinking, and then still stuff with investing. Like my boy, say the same thing with the Bitcoin, but I'm gonna be able to go more in depth into why and how you can actually hold on to it. Like my boy, you're gonna be real tempted to do X, Y, and Z. And you're still going to screw this shit up. But here is how you pick yourself back up. Here
Yeah.
is there's the fail safes. to help you to get back to this point. You check it out. So all of this stuff, even though I talk into myself of the past, it very much pertains to things that I can use right now in the present to propel my future.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. Like, dude, I, one of the
I
things. No, you could go ahead. Actually,
I would say that I think you have had progress. I wouldn't make it seem like this was just a horrible situation. I think it plays into the bad that we have to go through in order to understand. Because I do remember when we did make the play. Because after you tell me about the situation with the stocks, I remember we made the play with the Dogecoin. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I
mhm,
remember
stuff.
after that day, I kind of was like, this is my moment to help my partner and redeem him for his mistakes. Or I wasn't even looking at it in a nice way, like, oh, his mistakes. I was like, this is my way to help my partner not be an asshole again and not do some dumb shit. You know what I mean? So I remember every day I used to hit the man up. I used to tell you where it's at, and where it's looking to go. And sometimes you'd hit me up randomly at night and you'd be like, hey yo, I just heard something from somebody, da 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 da, like where it's at, or you'd be checking it yourself and just asking for specifics on what's in the situation. And I remember when it did start to go down and we were on the phone and I like, this might be a good time to pull. And I remember you saying, yeah, this is a time to pull. I'm repeating the same thing again. Pull that fuck, my boy. And
I did say that. Yep, that was
I was like, that's growth, dad. That's what you talking to your past self and reminding your past self of your transgressions and just being like, we're not going to make this mistake again. I was just happy I was able to just be there, and just be there as like, a supporting character.
you're right, because I did forget about that little low key. Those and yeah, I was able to recoup
Mm-hmm.
the initial stuff that I invested in and simply put it somewhere else. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
give thanks to Dogecoin, give thanks to Shiba
Mm-hmm.
for them little small wins. You check, but yeah, dog, like I was just going like add on the I can remember talking with my father, right? And this was like the first time that I can remember actually like outright disagreeing with this man. Because this man is my hero, dog. Everything that this man has like shared with me, imparted with me, especially when I've been feeling down about different things, has always been in the service of imparting wisdom and really giving me clues as to how I can like apply and commandeer that wisdom for myself. And the one thing that he always used to say is that regret is a useless emotion because you can't do anything about it. And I disagreed with him, dog. I disagree with him. I can remember it because we were sitting in a car right outside Wim Ballpark. That was the first time I can remember disagreeing with this man. But like he has his own reasons for saying that day. You check. But I was like, I was thinking about what you said the other day, and I gotta say, like, I disagree because even though it's true that you can't do anything with regret as like an emotion or like the experiences, there are still actions, themes, or styles or thought processes that you executed in that moment that you can probably do again later on in your life, right? So like history might not repeat itself verbatim, but the shit might rhyme, right? Something that you might pop up in, it could probably happen again, right? Like so much people I see like they might do something like let's say you're in college and you frig up on something and then man like, man, I'm about to graduate anyway, man. I ain't really about to deal with this thing because I ain't gonna come back and deal with it. It's true, you ain't gonna go back to the college setting and deal with it. But that's not the end of that type of situation popping up in your life. It's not guaranteed to be at least. And it's certainly not the end of you enacting the style in which you navigate situations like that. And so, if you can take a look at the actions or the themes that informed your place of control in that situation, then you can absolutely take that into the present to influence your future. And that's basically like, that was basically one of the many things ingrained in this exercise.
Hell yeah.
Amen.
Get me thinking. Get me
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, bro. So yeah, for the exercise for the folks, can probably guess what it is. I challenge you to do this literal experiment. Ask yourself 2 questions. If you had the opportunity to talk to yourself for 15 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
what would you tell yourself in that 15-second time and 15 seconds only? Then, if you had the opportunity to talk to yourself for 6 hours, what would you tell yourself in that 6 hours? Go back to the beginning of this life for the scenario, because the scenario really adds a sense of urgency to the situation, right? Because if you were actually in that situation and you had to lock in for 24 hours, you locking in, dog. You locking in. Your literal life depends on it. You check? So treat it as such.
Awesome. Also, this was a good one. I like this one.
Yeah, I kind of walk away from this one. Like normally we'd kind of end off at like a real happy, joyous, comedy type of joking vibe, and I just kind of hear like, meaning I fuck with the future.
Mhm.
Hey, but you can also you could also use this thing in different ways. Like Shalia, as she had thing with a question, she frame it in
Mm-hmm.
another way of like that future coming to the present. There's things that you can glean from that as well. You could also go to the past, and instead of like even focusing on your mistakes, you could use that past as like a source of gratitude.
Guide. Mm-hmm. Or
You
guide.
know what I mean? Like, yeah, like what are, like, if you were to go, if like, consider this here, if you were to go to the past, and or like the past you, what would you thank them for? Right?
Point of view.
That's a very great source of gratitude right there. Literally delving into your past experience, asking them what are some things that you would thank them for.
Mm,
Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah, man. So yes, that's the assignment. It's 2 questions. If you could talk to yourself, a past version of yourself, for 15 seconds and 6 hours, respectively, what would you tell them?
Is there?
That's all I got for Ab today, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate all the comments inside of the comment area. Think we should start the sessions moving forward with just a random question. I think that anime question really set the pace, and we had some really, really, really good dialogues inside of the chat today. And yeah,
What next
it's
week?
always
What's the next week? What's the next one? The next topic?
So
on
this
topic.
Tuesday,
Hey,
this
this one.
day,
It's Tuesday.
we'll be talking about why choosing better is a fucking myth.
Hmm.
Why it's a myth. All right. So get ready.
And that's the one you're waiting on, is it? That's the one?
Yeah, hard
Yup.
one. This is
That's
the one you're waiting on. Yes.
that's the one he be simping over, making women feel like they ain't do nothing wrong. They ain't do nothing wrong at all.
Bro has
And that was all men's fault.
well,
What you say?
bro has no idea what I actually going to be talking about. Man gonna come
That's
to these with these points and find out they have nothing to do what I talking about.
So why is it? So
You was about there.
that's a bit nefarious.
Mm.
If you're
For everything
yeah,
you just said is not accurate.
but we supposed to be having an intellectual discussion. I should be previewed on the topic as well as the topic and its you know
And you,
items. I will. I should be right now. I am supposed to be putting together my notes.
the idea of choosing better
What?
is a myth.
It just says I was meant for. All right, 19s, yeah.
That's why. Choosing better in terms of choosing a partner or just choosing.
Yeah,
The,
just choose. So we can absolutely get into it in the next episode.
mm,
I
that's
gonna
and
play
I'll
def.
have to wait.
I gonna play defense on this topic. I could tell. I gonna play full defense on this topic. I'm not going to play offense. I normally am on the offensive side, but I'm not attacking on this topic. I'm going to deflect, counter. What was the one you say? What's the one you discovered the last episode? Counter what?
Situational counter complaining.
Yes, I will do a lot of that.
All
Well,
right.
folks.
Tapping into my inner Zeldon.
Mm.
But yeah, man.
Uh,
Like the folks said, thanks a lot for coming out. Look out for that episode this Tuesday.
mm-hmm.
See y'all there.
Yes,
Oh.
sir.